what we do here is go back.
Do I have to share my chips? No, they're just here to watch.
Hi guys! Hey guys! So it looks like our girl gang is here and back for another video. So we are so excited to have you guys. As you guys already know, this is Robin, Lisette, and we are the Girl Gang. We are going to be discussing a very juicy,
hot topic.
Ooh.
I feel like it'll get hot. When I get nervous, when
she starts to stutter.
I get hot like the last video we did.
I know.
I was sweating.
Today's topic is, do you want to tell them?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited for this one. I feel like everyone goes through situations like this. How do you deal with your man cheating? What do you do?
Oh,
what do you
do? No, you didn't.
What do you do?
Girl, we pack our bags and get the fuck out of here. So I'm gonna tell you guys a really quick story time to what happened to me. And it was the first time I was ever cheated on. I was 17 years old, you know, in love. It was my very first It was my very first boyfriend ever. Well, not ever, I'm sorry, I take that back. It was my very first like love of my life. Like I really truly thought I was gonna marry this person forever.
I think this story's new to me too.
No, I ain't gonna tell you this before. No? Okay. So anyways, long story short, I was dating this guy for 3 years, okay? So towards the end of the relationship, everything was good, and I don't really understand how it took a turn for the worse, but it did. It definitely took a turn real quick. So I go out of town. I went to Jamaica with my family.
Ooh, I know.
You. I was traveling. I was a boss babe at 17 years old. Only because of my parents. We go to Jamaica. And I hadn't talked to my boyfriend because back then cell phones weren't a big thing. Yeah. So I basically went the whole vacation without talking to my boyfriend. Okay. And on the very last day, I called him and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be coming home. I'm so excited to see you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, like nothing happened. He's like, okay, cool. You know, we'll talk when you get home. All right, sounds fine, right? Mm-hmm. So I was so excited to see him. He ended up picking us up from the airport, no problem. A week goes by, no problem. But then, I end up getting a phone call randomly, okay, this was a week later, from a friend that I went to high school with. We had already graduated by then, okay?
That's the worst.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it gets even better. Wait till you hear this shit. So, she gives me a call, she's like, hey Lisette, I have to tell you what happened. I'm in town, and mind you, it was in Vegas. She's like, I'm in town for college break for the summer. Mm-hmm. She's like, I went to go see a really good friend of mine, and as we were having dinner, she's telling me about her best friend and how her best friend met a new guy. And I'm like, oh, okay, like cool, like I'm just listening to the story, thinking she's just telling me a story. She goes, yeah, she started telling me that her best friend found this new guy and that he has tattoos and like all this stuff, and he plays basketball, he's really good looking, like all this stuff, right? So just out of curiosity, my friend was like, oh, that's weird, like what's his name? You know what I mean? She was thinking of me, like, wow, I know somebody that literally matches that description to a T.
Oh my gosh.
So, excuse me. So, she ends up asking her friend about her best friend's new man. She's like, so what's his name? And she goes, oh, I don't know his name, I don't really know him, like it's still very new. And she's like, okay, well, what kind of car does he drive? Everybody knew my boyfriend at the time drove that box car. The friend answered her back and said, I don't know what kind of car he got, but I know he just bought a motorcycle, which my ex had just bought in a motorcycle a week before this. A week before. So then she put 2 and 2 together and she's like, you need to call her right now and find out what his name is. So they ended up calling my friend and they found out that it was my boyfriend. So then I was on my way to a party as I'm on the phone with her. So I get to the party and literally my friend comes up to me and I'm like, I literally dropped to my knees and I started bawling, crying, and everyone was like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? So he has the nerve to be blowing me up. I wasn't answering his calls. I was like, screw you, I don't need to talk to you. Like, I just found out you cheated on me. He shows up at my house the night that I found out. I didn't answer his calls, nothing. I'm coming into the driveway, I pull up. He's sitting on his bike waiting for me to come home.
gosh.
And I go in the garage and he's like, what's wrong, what's wrong? He's like, come here, I need to talk to you. And I was like, answer me one question. I said, who's Melissa?
Oh.
And he goes, who? And I said, Melissa. I said, don't act like you don't know who I'm talking about. Answer the question. And he was like, I don't even know a Melissa. I'm like, okay, all right. I gotta go to bed. And he's like, wait. He was like, wait, what are you talking about? Why? Who's Melissa? I'm like, listen, I don't know, but I'm hearing this name be brought to my attention, so I'm asking you, who's Melissa? He's like, oh, you mean my friend Melissa?
My friend.
All of a sudden you have a friend named Melissa, and all of a sudden there's a Melissa that I don't know that you're friends with when we've been together for 3 years, right?
Oh.
So then he takes me, he starts bawling, crying, we're sitting on the curb, I'm crying, he's crying. And he's like, listen, I'll tell you everything that happened. He was like, I was really drunk and I got so drunk, I blacked out, I didn't know what I was doing. I said, listen, if you could put your D in a V, you weren't drunk enough. You knew exactly what you were doing.
Yep.
So that's how I found out that he cheated on me, was through a friend who told me that her best friend's friend was dating him at the same time that I was with him.
That's crazy. But what'd you do?
So, I went back. It was like right around 4th of July, I remember. And I remember going to his house one day to go pick up my stuff, right? Like all the stuff that belonged to me from his house. And I walk in and all you hear was like, and I'm so sick of love. And I was like, this nigga, like he's up there plotting this whole thing. I walk into the room and all of our pictures are spread out across the entire floor. Like literally every picture that we've ever taken was all over the floor. And I was just like, oh my God, like I already know what's happening, what he's gonna try to do, and it worked. And then we ended up getting back together, but we were only together for a week after that because every time that he would cuddle me, kiss me, when we got, you know, intimate and he was on top of me, I literally felt like he was looking at her and not me. And I could never look at him the same, and I always felt like I was the other woman instead of the actual woman he cheated on. You know what I mean? It was just crazy. I couldn't do it. I could not do it.
So eventually you left.
I ended up leaving, and it got really ugly after that. Really ugly. What about you?
I mean,
I feel like we need to share these stories real quick before we can tell you what to do, okay?
What time do I talk about? If you want to be real.
Oh shit, multiple guys?
No, multiple guys. No.
Oh, one guy.
One guy multiple times.
Okay.
But it's like he never admitted. And I never
do.
And, of course. And I never caught him like red-handed in the act. But, you know, typical like, hey babe, we're gonna have guys night, blah, blah, blah. Which I'm cool with. Make sure it's guys night, you know? Make sure it's just guys. I don't care if there's single guys there that want to bring back females. Cut it. No, then remove yourself from that situation.
Or invite me.
Yes.
Your single guy friends to do that.
I'm like driving home because I went out to keep busy because he had already been shady even prior to this. So I'm like, I gotta go out. I gotta like keep busy or I'm gonna go crazy. And I'm like, you know what? I cannot get a hold of him. I'm calling him. I'm texting him.
My number one pet peeve.
He literally went MIA. And I'm like, you know what? And this is multiple times. So I'm like, you know what? Screw that. I drove to where he was. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be that person. I don't care anymore. At that point, it was towards the end. I was getting over it.
Fuck that.
And I pull up, and him and his friend, I did. All I see, I'm in the middle of the street, and I look. I said, and
wait, she pulls up in the high road. She's like,
I said, and I look, and I see him walking out.
Don't tell me
with a girl
and
his friend with another girl.
Oh my God. Like a double date.
Well, and then another one was not found, but that's another story. That ain't my situation.
Ooh.
But so I literally throw it in park so fast in the middle of the street. I don't even care. I hop out. And I'm like, who the f?
It's getting thick here.
I was like, who the F is this B? And she's like looking. I said, who is she? He literally laughs. He goes, babe, it's fine. I don't know who the heck his friend was. This is Mike's cousin.
Don't you love how they make you feel stupid?
It's their cousin. You need to chill. It's their cousin. I said, so why are their cousin? I said, why would you not tell me that they're going over. I said, cousins are not. To me, they're hoes. They're over. So you a hoe. I said, so why are they here? I said, and at least have them be better looking than me. I said, if you're really gonna do this, you're gonna cheat with me on a bum beat? And she like just looked. She didn't have anything to say. Her and her friend got in their car and left. Of course, I'm still like yelling and screaming. Yeah. But I was, gosh, what, 21? 22? I was young. And that was like my first serious relationship. So I say everything I need to say, and I'm pissed, and I'm crying, and I'm screaming.
Say what you need to say.
And I go upstairs with him because I'm like, I'm not leaving again. They end up playing video games, and I spend the night like nothing happened. Wake up in the morning, of course, he's like, babe, I love you, I'm sorry, it just looked bad, blah, blah, blah. And of course, like I knew it was more than, you know what I mean, what I saw. But I it was never enough for me to be like, oh, he really did.
Okay, so here's the thing. We both ended up staying in this relationship after it happened. So let's discuss this next, because now if this were to happen, it would be a totally different story.
Oh, absolutely.
For different reasons. Only because, one, first of all, I would never stay if the person, oh, get this real quick. I have to add this to my story real quick.
What?
After we broke up for good, he ends up dating her for like 6 months after me. But they only hooked up randomly because
they were drunk friends.
And they were just friends. Okay. With that being said, you guys, why? I understand if you have time with this person, if you guys have been in a relationship for a long time, it's hard to walk away. I understand that. But at the same time, there's somebody else who will love you even more and treat you 10 times better without feeling like they need to go anywhere. Like they feel like they got everything that they've ever wanted with you. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I feel like everything does happen for a reason. It just sucks. But when it comes to a man cheating, I personally think that it makes them look weak. You know what I mean? It's not so much you. And I think that this is the #1 thing that they always try to do is they will find reasons to say, well, you don't do this for me. Well, you don't do this for me.
My favorite one. You're boring. You're not fun. You're boring. Oh, I got that. You're boring. And I'm like, what do you want me to do?
Well, no, not only that. If that's the case, tell me that. Why don't you tell me this beforehand? Why do you have to go do this and do that and do your dirt? And then when I catch you, say, oh, well, it's because you're boring. No, that's not the case. Maybe you're boring, but you don't see me going out and sleeping with the whole neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's funny how they are so quick to turn it around on you or the other person that they're cheating on, instead of taking responsibility for their actions and being like, you know what, yeah, I did fuck up. Maybe we shouldn't be together. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what the point is by having someone be your boyfriend and feeling like you need to go somewhere else to do something else. You know what I mean? If that's the case, don't be in a relationship.
I just think that in those situations, and when they're like, you're crazy and you know it wasn't even like that, she's my friend, she's my coworker, whatever it is, I feel like you always need to trust your gut feeling. Always. Even if you don't see it for yourself, like see him physically doing something wrong, if you know, you have to go with that gut feeling. And I think in those moments we tend to think with our hearts instead of our minds, and we automatically go, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do without this person? What am I gonna do, like, being alone? When it should be, you need to value and respect yourself enough to not care what's gonna happen when you're single, not care how it feels to be alone, and just respect yourself enough to get out of that situation. And I wish I did.
I wish I did too.
1000% wish I did, and I wish my mindset was so different.
Obviously, don't know what you got until it's gone. But is that a reason to stay? Like, they're never gonna realize that. You know what I mean? They shouldn't have messed around on you. They shouldn't have done anything really to jeopardize your relationship, and they don't think about that in the time, but they'll be quick to come up with an excuse or to lie to your face and tell you, oh no, this is just my the cousin's the worst excuse in the book. Like, oh, it's your cousin, and if you're with your cousin, why wouldn't you invite me to come hang out and meet his cousin? Also, I feel like I don't know, this could probably be a different video, but I'll just throw it in here real quick, that when it comes to having a friend, like you're in a relationship, I don't care if my husband has friends that are girls, I really don't care, but do they know about me for one, and would you be comfortable if we all hang out, you know, together? Because as soon as there's a red flag there, then you know that there's other intentions. You know what I mean? There's other motives from not just him, but the other person too.
I also think though, not every situation is the same, and not every situation you maybe should leave and run.
Very true.
I think that sometimes, and I think this is more with like mature relationships. I think when you're younger, you cheat because you're
still
infatuated with someone else, you're learning, whatever it is.
You don't even know what you want.
But I think as you get older, the reasons get deeper, and I feel like it takes two to get to that point that someone wants to step out. But what you do at that point, if you don't come to your partner and you don't say, listen, I'm having these thoughts, I don't want to get it to the point where I am searching, you know, for affection or whatever it is from someone else. I think that, and if they do, I don't know, I just think it's just different. Like if you have kids, like you have more to think about than to just walk away, you know?
Well, I was gonna say too, now that I'm married, if I was to think about that happening in my marriage now as opposed to just happening in my relationship, boyfriend, I would handle it different. Now, would I be okay with that happening? Absolutely not. And I don't know if I would be able to get over it, even if I was married. Like, if I would still probably feel like the other woman when he was intimate with me. I might still have those thoughts. Thank God, knock on wood, I'll never have to think about that stuff. Because I feel like I married the most perfect, like, loyal person. However, the guy that I was with, I never in a million years thought he would have ever done anything. But, you know, they did. I would handle it probably a little bit different because I am married now. I have more to lose. Now we're starting a family. We have, you know, children and stuff like that. So it is about finding either making it work and finding a common ground and really, truly, genuinely making it work on both ends. If it's just one person wants it more than the other, it's never gonna work.
Nope. You gotta both be on the same page, and I think that at least for me, if I was married and this situation happened, like you said, God forbid, but I think that I would give that person one more chance to prove themselves, because I think when you're married you have more to lose, like you said.
Thank you guys so much for watching and being a part of the Girl Gang. Is there anything that you want to add?
Just make sure you guys like and subscribe so you don't miss out on all our fun stuff and my beautiful friend.
We love you and we can't wait to see you in our next video. Mwah. Bye.